And welcome back. You're still watching Morning Live. Now, the Female Only Filmmaker Project is an intervention by the National Film and Video Foundation, together with Blingola Media, to provide recent female entrants into the industry, particularly those from historically disadvantaged backgrounds, with an opportunity to make film and with collaborating with other women. Under the theme Negotiating Spaces, this is an effort to avoid stereotypical and clichéd themes usually associated with women films. To talk to us a bit more about the project, we are joined by Zwana, who is the NVF Production and Development Manager, as well as Selane from Blingola. Hello, ladies. Hi. And welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much for coming. First, it's a very, very exciting project. Now, why did the NVF now decide to embark on such a project?
There were two things that made us do this. First of all, there was a disastrous SAFTAs year where there was no award given for the best lead actress in a film. And that was because nobody had written a part for a female. So we decided that we had to make an intervention. If the men weren't going to tell our stories, we were going to find a way to tell our own stories and tell them well. So this was part of that initiative. The other reason being that we needed to answer the what next question, because we do bursaries, and when kids come out of school, what happens next? You give them money to do a short film, what happens next? So it all came together as part of an initiative that we're trying to put together to ensure that first, females are represented well, we are able to tell our own stories in our way, starring ourselves, so that we recognize each other on TV or on the big screen, and also to provide a pipeline for students and filmmakers.
All right. Now, many might believe that, the film industry is a very, very rather male-dominated industry. But then what are you particularly looking for when selecting these women to do these films?
So we're looking for female industry participants, people who are already working in the industry. So you can't be fresh out of film school. There's a lot of women who are working in the industry in different capacities, HODs, continuity, and often they haven't had an opportunity to make a film that is theirs, that they can actually say, this is my story. So we're looking for those women who are already working in the industry.
All right. Now, the theme for this year is negotiating spaces. Now, take us through that theme. Maybe you should tell us a bit about that, Thandeka.
Well, negotiating spaces would actually be Bongiwe's thing. She ran another one last year. This is her second year of running negotiating spaces. And it's particularly just looking at a way that women view themselves in today's world, right?
Absolutely. I mean, I think women in South Africa, in an African context, are forever trying to negotiate their own personal wants and needs within what society expects of them. So the theme is broad. It explores different themes also, with it's a kind of an overriding theme with little ones coming out, issues about family, about love, about being a career woman, but always also having to be a mother in a kind of a traditional context. The reason for it is that we wanted to have a space where we can explore many things that are affecting modern South African women today, and for them to kind of have a space to explore that and talk about it.
All right, I like that a lot. Now, you mentioned earlier that the film industry tends to sideline women. Why do you think that is, and how then do we begin to bridge the gap between female and male filmmakers?
Tough question. I mean, that's a global issue. There's articles all over the internet on all sorts of documentaries about how difficult it is as a female to break into the film industry. You even look at the Oscars, and how many times has a female director won an Oscar? So it's something that we in South Africa, we've got a really good reputation for how we view women and how we treat women. So we're hoping that we can be leaders in that kind of space. So this initiative is a big thing for us. This is the third year now that we're running it. And the hope is that these female directors and writers who are doing the short films, we can then guide them onto making their first feature films. It's supposed to be a pipeline. So with our backing and with the experience of producers like Ubongiwe, then we can get them from short film to a feature film, and who knows, we might take over the world.
And I think also it's just a space for women in the industry to not think of themselves as administrators, as they can play much bigger roles. Their stories are very important, and they are, you know, it's very important that they can see themselves as holding higher positions within the value chain of film.
All right, now ladies, unfortunately time is up, but thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
That was Thandeka Zwana and Bongiwe Selane talking to us about the Female Only Film Project, talking about how we can get women more involved in the art of filmmaking. Time now for an ad break, but do stay tuned for more.
Controlesa is actually stirring the pot here.
I'm sure they've been consulted as Controlesa. They did not see a snake. Now that in certain areas there are certain benefits that might possibly be accruing, there is a snake, now we need to reverse the process.
I agree, but it is not above the sovereignty of the people. The very same court you're talking about.
The sovereignty of the people, probably you should explain that to me.
The sovereignty of the people is above everything.
It is not proper the way facts are presented to the public. Are you in contact with Khosekgolo Motshodi?
He was kicked out by the court because he wanted to be amicus curiae.
For your weekly dose of all things legal, join Dumile Mateza every Sunday at 2 p.m. only on SABC News Channel.
Molemo, when pregnant with her first daughter, Relebogile knew that she wanted her daughter not to experience any identity issues. This is when she decided to look for toys that resembled Black as Beautiful.
I think for me, it was also just to get our girls to have some sense of identity, somewhere, some sense of belonging.
I grew up having black and white dolls, and going to a multiracial school, I did not really see color. So for me, it's this thing of she should actually know what her true identity is.
Join your host, Pulang Mulabadze, on Bupilong every Friday at 17:30.
Tonight in an SABC exclusive news expose, we show you how firearm proficiency certificates are fraudulently sold for a few thousand rand.
What you did was illegal. Do you at least acknowledge that? What you did is illegal.
I say it could be probably illegal.
Nigeria is Africa's second largest tomato producer.
The chief executive of Enrisco says he started the company with a capital of $75 million.
The problem now is that the market has been created in China.
He says that doing business in the country is becoming more difficult every day.